flying out to Las Vegas all alone for a week-long poker trip. I've been going to Vegas since my dad took me for my 21st birthday and have gone once or twice a year every year since. That said, this is only my second time going alone and the first time where poker is the main focus. Over the last couple years, I've taken improving my poker game more seriously. The problem is, results speak for themselves, and while I can show some wins in cash games, my hand and mob is severely lacking. In my defense, my home casino doesn't track tournaments on here, but we're going on this trip with plans of adding at least 1 or 2 results to the list. The good thing is, even if I don't, I'm out here for fun, I love poker, and even if I lose all my events, I'm not playing with money I can't afford to lose. On the first night, we check into Aria for our stay. I originally had no intentions of playing a tournament when I arrived, as I had just gotten off a 4-hour flight, but after checking into my room, I was full of energy and started walking toward the Horseshoe. There's a $200 nightly event that we're going to hop into and get the trip started.
I'm stuck on you. Been waiting endless nights to get a call. Hung up on you. I wanna do you everything on me too. I'm stuck on you. Been waiting endless nights to get a call. Hung up on you. I wanna do you everything on me too. I'm stuck on you. I'm stuck on you. I'm stuck on you. Been waiting endless nights to get a call. Hung up on you. I wanna do everything on me too. I'm stuck on you. Been waiting endless nights to get a call. Hung up on you.
It's officially day 1, and after some poolside leisure and a coffee, I have lunch at Javier's Mexican at Aria. After that, it's off to the Horseshoe once again. Today we're playing in the 250 daily, but in addition to that, there's a $333 bracelet event occurring on the World Series of Poker app. The day gets off to an incredible start. Look here as I capture myself tripling up after getting all in pre-flop with pocket aces versus 6s versus 9s.
Button?
Oh yeah, please.
Oh, whoa. 9. Gotta be. 4. And more. And right, there's more 10s than 9s.
Not only that, but we started the online event with 15,000 chips and have worked it up to about 45,000. Unfortunately, tournament poker is highly variant. We quickly get all in pre-flop with ace-king versus king-10 and the opponent finds a 10 on the flop. Crippled, we get moved to a new table with about 10 big blinds. We actually managed to double up twice and have a workable stack, but the luck runs out and we bust shortly after. Online, we've lost some chips and find ourselves all in with ace-9 versus ace-4. A 4 on the flop sends us packing there as well. Even the best tournament players in the world won't cash these events more often than once in 4. You just gotta get back up and move on to the next day. Day 2 is when we're playing our biggest buy-in of the trip. Not only that, but it's one of the biggest events you'll ever see. With a $1,000 buy-in and $3 million payouts guaranteed to happen, this is among the richest prize pools around. This event is also unique. If you can make it to day 2, which only about 5% of the field will do, every person you knock out thereafter grants you a mystery bounty. The bounties range from $1,000 up to $1 million. The room is buzzing. Unfortunately, the buzz quickly evaporates for me. I don't make it particularly deep into day 1 of the event and have to settle for watching from the rail as others open their mystery chests. I spend the rest of the night enjoying the city and regathering my head for the rest of the trip. We've surely lost some steam since cashing on the night we landed, but you can only take me out of the fight. You can't take the fight out of me. Additionally, today I'm playing a horse event, which is my favorite of all the forms of poker. It's a shame it doesn't run more often, but when it does, it draws my eye. For this event, we're playing at the very casino we're staying at. We bought in for $600 and get started playing around 11 a.m. The day gets off a little rocky, but before long, we've chipped up nicely. The event starts with 30,000, and after about 5 hours, we've gotten our stack up to about 100,000. After a few more hours, we've risen to roughly 300,000. It's time for break. Look here as the Las Vegas Golden Knights are about to win Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And look here as our tournament is down to 35 players from a starting field of 175. Additionally, note that the average stack is 150K. We've got about twice the average and are 12 players off the money. 23rd place pays about $950, but we've got our eyes set a bit higher. After only about another hour of play, we've made the final 23 and we've locked up the $950 cash. Additionally, we now have nearly 350K. The problem is, even though I still have above average, it's only about 12 big bets. That's not a ton of room to work with. We'll have to choose our spots carefully. I do just that. We chip up to over 400,000 and the field has whittled down to 15. We've locked up $1,700 now, but outlast 6 more players and we're at the final table. About an hour and a half passes by where I fail to get involved in any pots and I just coast, but that's enough to survive the onslaught happening around me. We've made the final table of 9 players, which guarantees us a $2,300 payday. There's a few things to consider here though. We started playing at 11 a.m. and it's now 1 in the morning, which means we've been playing poker for 14 hours to make it to this point. Another consideration is that given the current big bet of 100,000, the average player other than the chip leader going into the final table only has about 4 big bets in their stack. A quick look around the table tells me that I'm among the shortest stacks remaining. I suggest to the table that we have the directors run the numbers for an ICM Chop. Everyone seems open to it. The floor takes a few minutes and shows how the equity chop would look. A quick look at the current payouts shows that for 9th place, I'd get $2,300. Should I accept the deal, I'd receive about $5,600. That's essentially 4th place money. It's a no-brainer for me. Even the tournament chip leader with 1.8 million in chips would get nearly 2nd place money to take the deal. Everyone takes a moment to study their proposed payout. At Aria, all deal proposals are anonymously voted on. In order for the deal to go final, we're going to need 9 yeses. 1 no, and we'll have to keep playing. We're all given a yes plaque and a no plaque. The votes are in. The dealer flips them over and fans them out. I'm very pleased with this deal. The only thing I didn't get was this beautiful trophy awarded to the winner of the event. It was collected by this fine gentleman who held the chip lead when we made the final table. Maybe someday I'll win some hardware such as this. For now, all I have is this gorgeous chip I won for taking 1st place in a tournament long ago in the now mostly barren Mandalay Bay poker room.
Missing someone.
We get off to a pretty poor start in this event, but we quickly get moved into the GG poker room. That's pretty cool because this is where a lot of the final tables take place. You can see here the stud 8 final table where a couple of notable pros are battling it out. We continue to get short stacked and then double up. We get doubled up 3 times before getting moved back to the main room with a reasonable stack. Once we're in the main room, we get moved around to 4 or 5 different tables in the span of 20 minutes, and we never really get a chance to get our chips in the middle. Once we finally land at a table, we miraculously get it all in with Ace-King versus King-Queen versus Queen-Jack. We're a favorite to get a massive triple up here, but as you can see by the odds, we still only win this hand about 60% of the time. flop gives both players additional outs as they can both hit straights against us now, but as you can see by the board, we hold. We get our stack up to 235,000 before being moved to a new table all the way on the other side of the facility. It's at this point when we look up at the tournament clock and realize that we're actually getting close to the money. It's time to go on dinner break. When we return, we're probably only going to have to play another 30 minutes or so before we reach the money bubble. Once play resumes, it doesn't take much longer for us to make it into the money. Our cards run dry after that and we get knocked out a little while later. If you've never seen what it's like to make the money in one of these gigantic tournaments, it's pretty awesome. When you're hand for hand, people are watching all the all-ins on every table. And once the money bubble bursts, everybody cheers.
Yeah.
Jump!
I decided to pay $300 for standing room only tickets to the Stanley Cup. You may say that's a bit excessive, but you only live once, right? As it turned out, the standing room section was awesome, and despite the price of drinks at the venue, I had a blast. This game was an incredible experience, and I also hit my lone sports bet of the trip. This was the only day I played no poker.
Hey, hey, hey.
One last day left of the trip, I decided to get a cash game session in. I head over to the Venetian and hop in the 1-3 game. Within the first 10 minutes, I win one of the biggest pots of my life with a turn 9s full versus turn trip 10s. I win a few more pots over the next couple hours to cash out for a little over $1,000. Then I hop in one last daily $250 tournament at the World Series of Poker. I lose all in pre-flop with Ace King versus Pocket Queens, and that concludes the poker play for the trip. played 42 hours of live poker and profited $4,200, meaning I made about $100 an hour for the trip, but I do admit I lost around $800 playing online as well. If you enjoyed this trip summary, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. I enjoyed putting it together and I just may do it again in the future.